Welcome to Decoding the Keys to Health, a podcast dedicated to exploring health and wellness from a natural, holistic viewpoint. Join our host, esteemed nutritionist and New York Times bestselling author, Ann Louise Gittleman, along with James Templeton, a 35-year cancer survivor and the founder of Unikey Health, as they share their more than 5 decades of combined experience. In each episode, these luminaries of alternative healing will unpack the complexities of today's most challenging health issues, providing you with science-backed insights and wisdom you can trust. Whether you're embarking on a health journey, seeking to enhance your wellness, or simply driven by curiosity, you've tuned into the right resource. And now, let's delve in and decode the keys to health with Ann Louise and James.
Hello, everyone. This is James Templeton, founder of Unikey Health. It's great to be with you today. And I'm here with none other than the First Lady of Nutrition, Ann Louise Gittleman.
Hello, hello, hello.
And welcome today to Decoding the Keys to Health. It's great to be with you. And today we're going to talk about something that's probably affecting more people than they realize. And it is a very important subject matter that we're going to talk about: your tired and toxic liver.
Oh, my.
And Ann Louise is the real expert on the liver because she's written many books, and she's especially written a lot about the liver with her Fat Flush Plan, her New York Times best-selling Fat Flush Plan. And, you know, what a book this was. And it has helped so many people. But she talks about why people have so many different health issues, especially people that can't lose weight, and how important it is. Ann Louise, tell us a little bit more about this and what causes a toxic, tired liver.
Whoa, that's an easy question. Toxins cause an overloaded and tired liver. Toxins and medications, inadequate fiber, too much fructose, too much corn syrup, too many medications, too many poisons in the diet, the air, the water, the air that you're breathing, the water that you're sipping, the food that you're eating. So the body becomes overloaded, and the liver actually metabolizes at least 400 different types of toxins. And when it gets too tired and overloaded, or it lacks certain nutrients to detoxify, then you become sick. That's why there's so much issues in this day and time.
What
People
would be
have
some of the symptoms?
Being tired, being bloated, having stools that are grayish in color, stools that are floating, too much fat in the stool, inability to go to the bathroom on time. And the thing that most people don't understand is that the liver is your second skin, or your skin is your second liver. So if you can't metabolize toxins, they're going to come out on your skin.
So people that have a lot of rashes and people that have
eczema, psoriasis, even skin cancer, dare I say, that could be connected to the inability of the liver to metabolize and detoxify toxins, particularly in the phase 2 detox process.
Now, are people actually born with toxic livers?
Some people are born with viral issues in the liver, and some people have preconceived issues with the liver, predisposed issues with the liver. But there's an awful lot that you can do, provided you know what you're doing.
So do you think that most people have overburdened toxic liver?
I think it's one of the organs that's overtaxed in this day and time. You know, one of my mentors years ago, Dr. Alan Pressman, may he rest in peace, said that we don't need one liver in this day and age. We actually need 3 livers. So there's that overload of toxins that's in the environment. And think of the EMFs. Think of everything that you're touching, eating, and breathing. So it's a living filter that has to be nourished and supported, which is why we have products that do just that.
It's interesting. And that's probably one of the last things that people really think about is their liver, right? And that's the most important thing, because it's the number one detox organ in the body.
And people don't realize it because it's the producer of bile. And why is bile so important, James Templeton?
Well, bile breaks down the fats.
It does, and it's kind of like an absorbing fluid for toxins. Bile is one of the liver's foremost ways of detoxifying all kinds of hormones and toxic overloading of metals. So it's a detox method as well. So it provides you the ability to detoxify poisons, number one, and it also is a digestant.
So not only the fat, it's so many things.
Yes, if there's a hormonal issue, you always look to the bile or the inability of bile to flow properly and to function the way
Well,
that it should. And that's
there's-
why we have a product.
but a lot of people don't have a gallbladder anymore, which is the storage organ that stores bile.
So they're missing a timed release of bile when you're eating foods that are high in fat, which is why you need a concentrated source of bile salts, which is the product that I was alluding to. And that's where Bile Builder comes in handy. But most importantly, and most surprisingly, bile is not just important as a liver detoxification method, but it can also help the thyroid, believe it or not. And I wrote about it in one of my books called Radical Metabolism.
Wow. So you're known for your fat flush plan, your diet that has literally helped millions of people.
And you know why it has helped millions of people? Because unlike any other program before it or after it, it targets the liver as the body's premier fat-burning organ and detoxifying organ. And not only do we work with the liver, we work with the lymph, with our cran water, which is able to really decongest the lymph, which is your body's transportation system for poisons. So it's very simple. It's very elegant. It's concepts that I didn't just make up out of the blue. It's something that I learned from Dr. Parcells, who lived to the ripe young age of 106.
Oh, I know she was something else. And I mean, you're one of the first that I've known of in my lifetime to come out with a diet that talked about the liver and the lymph being the real underlying causes of weight gain and overall health issues.
Because if the liver cannot produce quality bile, which it does to the tune of 1.5 quarts per day, then you're not going to break down fats. It's as simple as that. So you need the elements to help break down fat, which are lecithin and choline, the most efficient nutrient in the diet these days, which is a defatter of the liver. And if you've got a fatty liver issue, then you need to be taking at least 500 milligrams of choline 3 times a day.
Well, I'll tell you. And what about the diet? What's important things for people to eat and things to avoid?
You need to be avoiding foods that are processed. You need to be avoiding refined oils. You need to be avoiding a lot of sugar and a lot of fiberless food. So you need more fiber, you need more vegetables, and especially the cruciferous vegetables, the broccoli, the cauliflower, the kale, the cabbage.
So you should be eating a certain diet like the Fat Flush plan.
The Fat Flush plan is the best plan for consistent weight loss and wonderful long-term results. And you know what you can be drinking on a daily basis? You'll never believe this because I wrote about how bad it was years ago,
What's
but
that?
I was wrong. It's coffee. Coffee is actually very helpful for the liver and the bile production.
And why is that?
It's a good question. I think it's because it contains chlorogenic acid, which is an anti-fat element. It also contains many polyphenols and bioflavonoids to help in the production of bile itself.
Is that like an antioxidant? High amounts of
antioxidants, but it's got to be the right kind of coffee. Organic and mold-free, because coffee is a wonderful detoxification agent, provided it doesn't contain mold, which most coffee on the market
How
does.
much coffee should someone be drinking?
On the Fat Flush plan, we allow 1 to 2 cups a day.
So that's not a problem, even if caffeinated coffee is fine.
Yes, but you can do a decaf coffee. The one that I like is the Purity brand, because that's the only one that I'll actually drink myself, which has the same amount of chlorogenic acid in decaf as it does 1 cup of caffeinated coffee. So coffee is maybe that's the reason, James Templeton, that people that do a lot of coffee enemas have such healthy livers.
Oh, yeah.
So however you take it, whichever orifice you're taking your coffee in, it's very good for your system, and particularly good for the liver.
Well, I'll tell you, I deal with a lot of cancer people on Templeton Wellness, templetonwellness.com, and I interview cancer survivors of most of these people have had late stage cancer. And I also interviewed a lot of the very most prevalent and probably experts in the world on treating cancer in people and educating people around the world. And these are doctors, most of them, and a lot of these are using coffee enemas in their protocols for people. And I've noticed how well a lot of people do when they're doing sometimes a coffee enema every day, sometimes twice a day, depends on the person.
Unbelievable.
And that's something people have to, consult with someone to based on their condition, and I'm talking about cancer. But the thing about it is that the coffee enema is really the coffee ends up in the blood and stimulates glutathione production in the liver, which is the mother of all antioxidants.
Exactly. And then hopefully you can recycle the glutathione, because some people have a genetic inability to actually recycle that glutathione, which is another issue. But we also have a product besides the bile builder, which is good for people with inadequate or sluggish bile or don't have a gallbladder, provides a concentrated source of bile acids. We have something called liver lovin. And why did you put together the ingredients that are in liver lovin? The artichoke, for example, the taurine.
It's all good for the liver. It's all
exceptionally good for
the liver is happy when it has certain things, and that's what we have in the liver loving formula. This is something Ann Louise formulated basically for
many years ago
for her clients, because a lot of her clients were contacting her with all kinds of different health issues, and most of them were all overweight. Most people look in the mirror and they say, oh my gosh, I don't like what I see anymore. Oh, I'm gaining weight. The older I get, the more weight I'm gaining. Even nowadays, you see a lot of younger people that need to lose substantial amounts of weight. And I think it's all about the diet, the lifestyle, and it's got to be the toxicity levels have gone up in people since I was around, because I don't remember as many overweight people as there is right now.
No, there isn't. But the real issue that you alluded to a little earlier is that you don't know when your liver is overloaded. If you take a blood test and you see elevated liver enzymes, and you can basically tell, but it's not that your liver is going to be hurting you when it's really having problems. So making sure you get those liver enzymes tested yearly is important. And we have seen with the use of bile builder and liver lovin how liver enzymes come down quite nicely.
Now, where can someone get those liver enzymes tested?
Any lab will test.
Any doctors, most normal conventional doctors, are they going to do that, or you have to request it?
It can be on certain blood tests. They have these metabolic panels that include them, but if not, you do a complete liver enzyme test.
So are most conventional doctors open to doing this?
Oh yes, but they don't know how to read them adequately.
So do you have any information on your site about this? About how to read a liver test?
They can contact me directly
at
annlouise.com, info@annlouise.com. Better still, contact my business manager, Stuart, Stuart @annlouise.com, and we can guide you.
Because people really need the guidance.
They need advocates.
Yeah, and tell us what they should be drinking every day to help their liver and their lymphatic system.
Well, that's where the cran water comes in handy, because it opens up both pathways of the phase 1 and phase 2 detox. So that is cran water. It's 1 ounce of unsweetened cranberry juice to 7 ounces of water taken 8 times a day. And this is something I learned from Dr. Hazel Parcells. She used it for at least 30 years, lived till 106, as I mentioned before. And this was used by the Native Americans, believe it or not, as a parasite cleanse.
Is this why she was always had this water that looked kind of red?
Pinkish water. It was the pink water. And she used to tell me, and this was so new to me way back when, many, many moons ago. I mean, I was just a young pup then. And I would say to her, what is it in the cranberry that makes it such a good detoxifier? And she said it's because it contains a whole variety, a whole spectrum of organic acids that you can't get elsewhere, and they act as digestive enzymes. So taken internally, it'll actually digest all those fatty globules in the lymph. That's why it's my cellular cure.
Oh, wow.
So we got the thyroid cure going with the bile builder and the cellular cure going with the cran water. What more can you ask for?
Well,
we got it all.
The thyroid key is what we haven't talked about, and that's thyroid, but that's thyroid support. But we'll have to talk about that one next time or another time. But that's a very important subject to get into, but the liver, folks, you've got to take care of your liver. Your liver is your number one detox organ in the body. That's why you can't lose weight in most cases. That's why you feel tired, toxic, headachy. A lot of people, the liver headache is right between your eyes. So that's where people feel this, and angry. It makes you angry, makes you aggravated.
The emotion. What's the emotion of the gallbladder?
Well,
bitterness.
Yeah, angry, bitter. And the thing about it is your liver's still producing bile. It's just not storing it the same way without.
It's not releasing it in the proper fashion. So it constantly is dripping into the intestines and can be very irritating.
Yeah.
But, if you have symptoms, just to review, if you've got pain between the shoulder blades or under the rib cage, you need some bile help. If you've got gray or light colored stools, and you got to start looking, ladies, and you need help with your bile, your liver is a little tired. Dizziness, bloatingness, radiating leg pain, waking up in the middle of the night and having poor sleep, all that shows that there's an issue with the bile. So you got to be supporting the production of bile in the liver, and perhaps taking the bile builder so that there's free flowing bile.
So if you had a client come to you and you knew that they were toxic and you knew they had a lot of issues, they had a lot of these symptoms, what would be, tell us again real quick, okay, what diet would they follow? What supplements would you most likely have them take? And what other lifestyle habits would you have
to get off the sugar, number one. You have to see if you can reduce medication, because medication is one of the fastest ways to start getting elevated liver enzymes. So see if the doctor can reduce your medication. It's something I can't tell you to do, but certainly over-the-counter meds like acetaminophen, you've got to stop. Tylenol traditionally has been known to be very toxic to the liver. Then you want to increase cruciferous veggies as much as you can, greens as much as you can, chlorophyll-containing lettuces and parsley and arugula, and try to include more bitters in the diet, because bitter is better when it comes to your gallbladder.
Well, that's good news to know. And then is there any other things that help with the liver as far as exercise or anything like that? Or
coffee enemas.
What about just exercise? Doesn't that help to detoxify the body, take a little load off of the?
Well, more certainly exercise on a daily basis, at least 20 minutes. But I would also say a sauna will help to detoxify the body, because remember, the skin is your second liver. So by sweating, you're getting out the poisons that your body can't handle because it's on overload.
And, I was once told by my teacher, Michio Kushi.
May he rest in peace.
Yes, that if you walk for 30 minutes every day, that fully activates your lymphatic system.
Yes.
It's 30 minutes.
Excellent.
And just a nice walk. I mean, move or get on a trampoline, as you've talked about for years.
Absolutely. That's one of the best ways to get the lymph moving. And it only takes 5 minutes on the trampoline.
5 minutes. That's it.
5 minutes. That's what we
So mini trampoline.
A mini trampoline, the kind that's in my bedroom.
Yes.
Every morning that you're hearing me jump up and down.
The kind that we have in Unikey in the back of the warehouse that people jump on at their lunch break. Some people do. I don't know about all of them, but we've had that.
So we try to walk the walk and talk the talk.
We try. It takes a little effort, everyone, but Ann Louise knows. If anybody knows, she does. I don't think very many people know the things that are so important to you as much as she does.
That's very kind.
With how many years of experience?
Many.
How many?
Too many to count, but who's counting?
45?
On 40. When I first studied with Dr. Parcells, it was back in 74. So what are we? Is that 40 years ago at this point?
It's
about 40 years ago. Somebody's saying 50 in the background here.
So I would think probably close to 50 years.
But this is age-old wisdom. This is wisdom that doesn't go out of style. This is wisdom that's as new as it is today as it was back then. It's
how many clients have you worked with over the years? I mean,
thousands.
And think about how many people benefited from just being able to take a load off their liver.
It's probably extended their life immeasurably.
As people get older, I'm sure liver becomes more toxic.
Of course, we're walking time bombs.
That sounds like Dr. Parcells. So
Now, the older you are, the more toxins you can accumulate. So it's up to you to make sure that they're moving out. You can't prevent them from absorbing in your system, but you can certainly assist their easy passage out. And that's where the right kind of fiber also comes into play.
So if someone decided today, I want to clean up my act and I want to take a big load off of my liver, and they decided to go on your fat flush diet plan,
because they're following the new fat flush plan that came out in 2016. That's the new one that came
and this
out.
could be one of the best steps they've ever taken to take control of their health.
Absolutely. There's no question. There's no better program on the market.
And the liver
Even if I
loving,
say so myself.
it would be very important also on a regular daily
The bile
basis.
builder and liver loving, yes, there's not a day that goes by that I don't take both of them.
But if people have a gallbladder still, it's still important, the bile builder.
Because it'll thin the bile and have it free flowing.
So I guess this is why the bile builder has been our #1 selling product for the last 3 or 4 years since we came out.
Well, because it works.
And people, they thrive because they're cleaning up their diet, they're taking the right supplements, they're hopefully exercising on a regular basis enough to detoxify the lymph. They are sleeping better, feeling better, less bloatedness, more energy, less irritable, probably less skin issues. That's something that I've had to deal with over the years, is just keeping my liver cleansed, because I don't know, for some reason, that's always the thing that's come up with me also. And as health conscious as I am, and all the exercise and the healthy organic diet only thing I don't do is drink coffee. Maybe I should.
Yeah, but you were born with an inability to recycle your bile. You found that out from a genetic test.
Yes.
To recycle the glutathione rather, and that's a pretty common predisposition.
A lot of this can be genetics, and
which is why it can be helpful to have a genetics test done with your DNA. Yes, indeed.
Where can someone get a genetic
maxgenlabs.com. maxgenlabs.com is where we just had our test, and it was extraordinarily helpful, comprehensive, and doable.
Anybody can have that test, get that test done without seeing a doctor.
I think you can actually see one of their consultants. We worked with Dr. Christian Bogner, who was extraordinary.
Okay. Well, any other thing you'd like to say about this subject today, Ann Louise?
Well, I want to just say that bile for some people is the new thyroid cure. That's what I wanted to tell you. And that's because some studies show that when bile is released to break down dietary fats, it triggers an increase in the production of an enzyme that converts the inactive thyroid hormone T4 into activated T3, which is the body's main hormone responsible for firing up metabolism and switching your body into fat burning mode. So sluggish bile could be slowing your thyroid, because symptoms of low thyroid and lack of bile go hand in hand. And I'm going to leave our listeners with this thought. When I was doing the research for my latest book, Radical Metabolism, which talks about bile and the new thyroid cure, I first become alerted to the connection between bile and thyroid when I spoke to several doctors that said when their patients had their gallbladders removed, their thyroid levels went up, meaning they became hypothyroid. So there was that connection that they always saw between the lack of a gallbladder and timed release of bile and thyroid function. So to help your thyroid go through the bile.
Wow.
That's extraordinary. There's not a lot of research.
You don't hear about that very much.
Well, of course not. That's why I wrote about it.
And someone that has hypothyroid would feel like
tired and sluggish and depressed. It's very similar to the symptoms of low and optimal bile.
And cold hands and feet.
You got it. And lack of.
I mean, I can't imagine the people I've met that are always cold. And I'm like always warm. And I go in and see these people somewhere and they're like freezing to death and it's 73 degrees, the temperature in the room.
So you got a thyroid connection to the bile, but that's all written about in 2 books. It's written about in the New Fat Flush Plan and Radical Metabolism.
Wow. Well, anyway, great information, Ann Louise. Always good to be with you.
Good to take time to be with you, James Templeton.
And thanks for educating everyone all these years and doing all the writing the books and getting the information out for people. And there's so many people I know you've helped, and I know you've helped me and inspired me over the years. So thanks again. And
thank you,
everyone. Check out Foundation Templeton Wellness, templetonwellness.com. Also check out Templeton List, templetonlist.com, the healthiest organic farm-to-table restaurants in America. This is easy to use. You can use it. It works off of Google Maps. Use it on your phone, on your computer. This is a great place to start eating healthier when you go out on the road, travel, or you just want to get out of the house. Check it out. There's nothing like that out there. Also, check out Ann Louise's site, annlouise.com. All the information. Keep up with her on Facebook, Instagram. Where else are you at?
I'm featured in First for Women magazine.
Yes, check her out on a regular basis. Keep yourself educated, and you too will get over that tired and toxic liver. So this is James Templeton with Ann Louise Gittleman. We'll see you next time. Have a great, healthy day.
Goodbye and good luck.